The views expressed in this podcast, Champ and Tramp, belong to the host and guest, not the Champ and Tramp podcast itself. It's intended for entertainment information, so please use discretion. We're not responsible for any outcomes resulting from the content discussed.
Guys, Carnivore is now available on TikTok Shop.
That's right. Get my favorite products now on the TikTok Shop and take advantage of the lactose and dairy-free protein selection Carnivore has to offer.
So many great products to choose from, like Carnivore, the world's #1 beef protein, Carnivore Shred, the fat-burning protein, Carnivore Lean Meal, the natural whole food meal replacement, and more.
Carnivore is #1 for a reason, delivering all the benefits of beef in a delicious shake that's sugar-free, fat-free, gluten-free, and lactose-free, making it the perfect choice for athletes and fitness enthusiasts around the world.
Click the TikTok Shop button and beef up with Carnivore.
Milk is for babies. Beef builds muscle.
Real show, here we go. Real show, here we go. You know that it's gotta be that time, so this is what we chant. What keeps on getting them all amped in advance? Come on. You and I rocking out with Iron Man, FE. You get the general's point of view on top of Roger's rants. Whenever tapping out, we're putting the most minutes in. You already know what that's about, you know that winners win. Crush whatever's on task, check the podcast. It's the Champ and the Tramp, let the bomb blast.
Well, hey, I guess we're in it. We're in it.
Yeah.
We're in it.
Right,
And here we are.
Just a couple union guys talking shop.
Couple union guys.
Just kicking some
you
shit
could have been
around.
there.
I was a union guy.
Shop steward.
I'm
Could have been a shop steward.
I'm a shop. I'm not
shop steward.
the head shop steward. I'm the driver and shop steward. But
So you're the guy that watches his back when he goes.
I'm
in
the
and
guy that they
collects.
make requests.
He's a good
to
guy.
when it comes.
If you want someone watching your back. You know what I mean?
I do. I know exactly what you mean.
Do you think he's in love with me because he talks?
In love with you, bro. I'm fucking
I
terrified that you're going to try to mount me one day. All right?
Never seen.
Okay.
None of my friends.
Thank God I'm little. I think
talk about
you
such gay shit to me other than him. Nobody else does.
Yeah. Like dogs, though, it doesn't matter. You guys could still mate. Doesn't matter. He's so much bigger than you.
No.
Once
You know what I mean? It's like a
once you-
chihuahua and a
once
fucking.
you turn it around and make it personal to him, he gets all offended. All right.
Roger. It's
What do we
hard
got?
to offend Roger. You know why?
Because
You know what I mean?
you see the thing I sent you
Like,
today?
you can't offend. You know what I'm saying?
It slides off his back. He's like a duck.
Well,
It's fun.
sometimes.
But he's got a thick skin. He's got to have a thick skin. He was in.
Sometimes-
He's been in the public eye in some really, really bad.
That's
You know what I'm saying? So you got to. It's
Thank
old,
you, Chris.
right? No,
Thank
but just
you for
now. I'm not
picking that
talking
up.
about that. I'm
I
talking
was
about
just saying- I
Jersey
was
Shore.
just
Like
saying
that's
it's hard to offend him when he doesn't always understand everything.
Yeah. All right. At least it wasn't a gay reference. It's a special ed reference.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, well, you know what is funny?
What do you got, buddy?
Well, your birthday is what? What day?
June 1st.
June 1st. What is June 1st?
Gay pride.
The first day of Pride Month.
Men's Health
The
Month.
first day
It's
of
also-
Pride
It is.
Month.
It's
It is.
also Men's Health Month.
It is.
Wow.
It's like job set. It's like job site safety month too,
Yeah,
or
see?
something. They told me
See?
at work. So that's,
Yeah,
that's
so like
taking it.
that's a
So you can wear the outfit.
yeah. You wear the outfit.
Do you think like holidays are out of hand now? Because isn't there like a National Sun's Day, National
There's
Is
just-
there
it's
like
not-
National,
yeah,
That's
right.
that's like
National
That's
Cousins
social
Day?
media.
That's like
That's social media.
made
Yeah,
those
yeah,
days. You know, and I think there's like 3 of them.
Oh,
Oh,
there's
Sunday.
more than
Think about it. Most of the holidays are Hallmark holidays
Yeah.
anyway.
Oh.
Even Christmas. I mean,
Yeah, Christmas.
you know, it represents something clearly, but the way that we celebrate it is all just commercially friggin'
Yeah.
corrupted.
I
And
think they said like didn't like Coca-Cola or something like revolutionize Christmas.
Coca-Cola made Santa Claus look the way he does. They
Oh,
gave
is
him the
that
red
tr-
outfit.
is
They
that
made him
true?
fat. Yeah, yeah. If
Really?
you look at Santa Claus throughout time, like there was a Kris Kringle and a
Yeah.
Saint Nicholas or whatever, but they never looked like the one that we have now. He's usually like almost looks like a beggar, like a real skinny, tatted up clothes. You know what I mean?
I think he said tatted up. I'm like, damn.
No.
What's
you
the
know,
holiday? There's
tattered,
a
tattered.
holiday that is like fairly recent, I think, that basically has no meaning, and they tried. What the fuck is it? Let me look it up.
A holiday that has no meaning.
There's a lot of them.
Yeah, that they
Does
What,
Halloween have a meaning?
religious holiday?
I believe it's a religious. What is it?
Kwanzaa?
No, not Kwanzaa. If you
What
said
was it? What were they What were they celebrating in Seinfeld?
Festivus.
Oh, it was
Festivus for the rest of us.
No, Festivus. No, but what was it? Merry Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa or something? Who did that?
That was
It's a different movie.
wait,
or
did you
something.
say Kwanzaa?
Yeah.
Maybe it is Kwanzaa. What is Kwanzaa
Kwanzaa's
exactly?
African.
some
Yeah.
What is it though?
It's
Tell you
African.
right
holiday.
Okay, but what are they celebrating?
Kwanzaa.
Africa? Just
Yeah,
just the country?
Yeah, I think
I'm
Africa.
away.
I think Africa as a whole.
Remember that? You ever see that? Someone away.
You could be on Broadway.
It was created in 1966.
Yeah,
in
maybe
the
that's what I'm talking about then, yes.
Aftermath of the Watts riots, and as a non-Christian, specifically African American holiday. The goal was to give black people an alternative to the existing holiday of Christmas and give black people an opportunity to celebrate themselves and their history, rather than simply imitate the practice of the dominant
Okay,
society.
maybe I shouldn't have
What
said
do you
no
mean, though?
meaning,
That makes
but-
no sense, though. That's kind of silly.
It's an anti-Christmas Christmas.
Yeah. So you don't know what you're talking about, Raj?
I guess I didn't know what I was talking about.
It's all right.
Does that?
It happens.
Hey,
It seems like it happens often.
It
right?
did fairly often down here in the podcast room.
so I went down to D.C. for the
Yes.
250-year anniversary of our Army
Correct.
with Tim Kennedy, Gordon Ryan, Luke Rockhold, and Michelle Waterson. We were like the team of UFC people. Bro, Tim Kennedy's a man. First off, he knows everybody. He's got 90 million things going on in his head at one time.
Yeah.
When he called me to like brief me, I sound all military and shit, to brief me on like what we're gonna do that weekend. He told me what we're doing Friday, what we're doing Saturday. Bro, I couldn't remember all that stuff to tell somebody. You know what I mean?
Right.
And
He's
he was
organizing all
on
that
point.
stuff.
He was like,
He's very dialed in.
yeah, he's like, very, obviously he's a military guy,
Right.
But it was cool. We did the competition against, well, not against. We didn't really compete, but we had a team. The soldiers really compete against themselves, each other, But we did do it, and we did it first, which is crazy. I thought it was going to be like just
They
like,
probably wanted to get you out of the way.
well, first what they sent us that like was going to be three rep deadlift, how many push-ups you could do, how many like a plank.
That's what you were told before you went
and I'm like,
there?
bro, I'm gonna kill this. I'm really, I'm good at that shit. Then this was like a course, like a CrossFit course that you had to work simultaneously as a team. So I'm like, bro, we didn't even get like,
Did every team have a girl on it? Because that would make
No.
it fair.
No.
Well,
No.
So who won?
No, they're fucking equal.
I don't know. It's team one.
Did they have a girl on the
No,
team?
did not have a girl on the team. Yeah, definitely mattered because like so the way it was set
strength,
up, right?
height, speed,
Well,
everything,
that,
right?
well,
I
that,
mean,
no,
Michelle
but like,
Waterson is amazing.
Oh, of
definitely
course.
no, but
Yeah,
even
she's
even
a beast.
height matters. Like even for like if you wanted to win, I probably shouldn't be on your team. You know what I mean? Although I did pretty good. I didn't really get slowed up at all. But like there's a log you have to jump over. Like some people are clear. Like you guys would be able to clear it.
Right.
I have to like put my stomach on it. You know what I mean to get over it. Which I got over it easy.
Right.
But yeah, it was tough. It was tough.
You're not tall enough to be in the like the special forces.
This guy thinks he's tall. This
No,
is the
right?
funniest
No, is it?
fucking
Am
thing
I
in the
right
world,
though?
bro.
Isn't there a cutoff? I'm just asking. I don't want to cut
I
the
just
story.
love when he's here. 'cause
Isn't
he-
it right? Like if he
You know,
wants
I
to be
just
in the
said this
team,
to someone
if he wants to
today.
be in the
I
team,
did say this to someone today.
What?
Like when when people are like, you're short, or I got more money than you, or I'm better looking than you, or this. I'm like, well, what can I do if I want to?
Kick your ass.
And fuck you. You know what I'm
you
saying?
couldn't fuck. You kick my ass. You couldn't fuck me. There's,
All right.
why does he go to that? Why does he even go to that?
Yeah, I don't know why the.
Go ahead, I'm
It's a
sorry.
joke. It's a
I cut up
joke,
your story.
obviously.
I cut up your story. I'm sorry.
It's a joke.
No, I'm saying.
Didn't Gordon
I want to
Ryan
hear about that. I
just
want to
say
hear about
something similar to that to Wes Watson. Like,
Oh my
I
god.
think Gordon wrote because Wes obviously
yeah,
made it. I think
he said-
Gordon just wrote him something. Basically, was
Yeah.
essentially what you said. Not
yeah.
only could I beat you, I could fuck you.
It definitely could. Yes,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
But yeah.
Now you had like handlers when you got there. Somebody took you. Hey, you guys come over here.
Tim.
This is your Tim handles all that.
Yep, I met Tim there.
Wow, that's cool. That's badass.
Yeah.
You said you saw the parade.
I did, yeah. I stayed for not all of it because I had to drive home that night. I wanted
Right.
to get home for Father's Day, But
Was there any
yeah,
like
so-
really cool shit in there? Or was it like tanks and
yeah,
what was it?
tanks,
Tanks,
yeah,
Missiles
tanks.
and shit, like you see in like when
Yeah,
Russia
Russia,
does it.
yeah.
When they got the ballistic missile coming down the road. That's insane.
No, but they had air show, they had all that stuff. I
Right.
didn't stay for this, but the Golden Knight took the flag and delivered it to Trump
shit.
onto the field. He skydove with the flag. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Yeah. I've been to Washington, but like I never got to see like the monument.
Did you see any of that?
Yeah,
Watch
we were
Lincoln
pretty much on
Monument.
the White House
Washington.
lawn.
Yeah,
The
yeah, yeah.
parade.
That's so.
The Washington Monument, the World War II memorial, the Vietnam Wall.
Yeah,
saw that,
Chris,
you know.
Chris was watching it like on live stream, and it said Tim Kennedy, and I'm like, is he actually holding that phone? And Chris is like, I don't know. And then he turns the phone around, and Tim's like, I'm like, he fucking
he
is
was
holding
watching
the
a
phone.
parade and shit. Yeah.
I met the chief of the army, which is the general. He's pretty much runs the whole army.
5-star, obviously.
I don't know. Actually, I'm not sure. But at least a couple stars. I know that. But he's a general.
Did you tell him I run an army too?
The Iron Army.
Did you say it to him? That would have been dope. That would have been dope. I got air support too.
But that was hot. It was like, dude. So it took like 50. Well, listen. If you don't do it in 15 minutes, you get disqualified. So Gordon is a mess, right? He's like his stomach issues bad, and like you could tell he was in physical pain the whole time he was there. Like you could see it on him. Like even when he was sitting down, he was like, like struggling. So we're doing this, and we knew he was going to struggle with this. And we get to one thing, and he pretty much craps out. So we had to wait like 2.5 minutes because we were seeing he was trying to stay in it. You know what I mean? So finally, we got someone else to replace him. We still finished 14 minutes and 50 seconds. So it probably would have been like in 12 minutes. We probably got done in 12 minutes. Not bad for the first time we've ever done it. But the winner got like 9 minutes on.
Oh, wow.
Which is
But
pretty
if
impressive.
you're training for it though.
Pretty impressive.
Wow.
Yeah.
You've known Gordon a long time. Has he always suffered with that stomach issues?
No.
Something new.
Not new. I think it's been like 5 years now.
I watched his post for a long time where he was trying to find specialists to treat it, and I know he found a couple doctors. He really
did, but it just never. It's like comes and goes. Yeah.
A fucking shame too.
That is crazy.
The height of his athletic career. You know.
I don't know if he'll ever compete again.
I mean, he really doesn't have to, but
No, he doesn't.
Yeah, but I mean, damn, it's just a shame for us.
it really is.
He's
I
amazing.
know.
He's
He literally will go out
there.
there and teach something just because he's putting out a DVD series on it and be like, "Oh, you see what I did in that last match? Well, here."
You mean he'll do?
I mean, he'll do something. He'll finish a match
Yeah,
with something
yeah.
and then come out with a whole DVD series on it.
Yeah, he's a special dude.
Yeah.
He was calling it, right? Wasn't he calling
Yeah.
how he was going to win?
Give them an
Writing it
envelope.
down.
Yeah. Yep.
I would like to see him one more go against Nicky Rod just to see who.
They're good
Well, he
matches.
beat him twice already.
I know,
Yeah.
but it was cool. Nicky Rod almost had him at one point in time. What did he break his foot? Right, broke his foot.
I don't think he broke it.
No. That was about as close as. I mean, I think Gordon's been beaten in his career, right?
Yeah.
Early.
Yeah, early on.
That was as close.
He's got a big
at his
unbeaten streak,
peak.
though.
Yeah.
That was as close as anybody's come to beating
Yeah.
him.
If he did
He
really
was
break
pointing
his
to the
foot
time, remember?
and he still freaking beat him,
I
that's
know.
even more
Listen,
gangster.
Gordon's a man. I'm not taking anything away from Gordon at all, and he's obviously fighting or competing with a handicap that Nicky's not. But also Nicky, and who knows? Because Nicky looks like he's on roids, but he claims he's
Right.
not.
But why not?
You know
Everyone's
what I
on
mean?
roids,
Yeah,
right? In the
exactly.
jiu-jitsu world. What does that matter?
Yeah.
You know? You think,
No.
that, you think that matters?
Well,
you think
if they're both on roids, who cares?
If you think if I'm more skilled than you, but you're on steroids, that you're going to beat me in jiu-jitsu? No, I don't think so.
No, definitely not.
I don't think so.
But like, what if we're both skilled the same?
Where does it? Because obviously
Right.
you're all natural. Where do you think it helps you with your recovery, with your strength? Where do you? Doesn't
I think just
it
you could-
doesn't
you could
it
just-
doesn't up your skill level?
No, but just you could hit it over and over and over.
Right. Recovery. Yeah.
You
It's
could hit over and
not
over
fair.
and over. Where like when I would hit it anyway, but I'd be fucking dead.
Right.
You know what I mean? These dudes they wake up the next day and they're like, I'm ready to go again.
Yeah, right. Just the
know?
more practices you get, the more quality
Yeah, I
practices
would
you
agree
get
with
it
that,
alone.
for sure.
But yeah,
Same
your
thing with
recovery,
steroids in the
muscle
gym.
growth.
Obviously, I've done it back in the day, but your
You?
recovery,
No.
your recovery time, like you work out, you get a killer workout in. You feel like an hour later you can go back to the gym. You know what I mean? You're not sore. You're not. So that's the advantage for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Especially if you're like a performance athlete, where you could just put in that much more.
Yeah.
But you heard the stories of like Lance Armstrong and those guys when they were blood dope and they're taking the EPO, where they would have to wake up in the middle of the night
Yeah,
and ride their
and ride
freaking
their bike,
stationary
yeah.
bike
Otherwise they could
to keep their
clot.
blood flowing.
Yeah.
Crazy, bro.
Bro.
What
Yeah.
people are willing to do, though, right?
How was he? I mean, I knew the story. I watched it. How was he beating the testing again?
Who?
Dude,
Lance Armstrong.
He's never failed the test.
yeah,
know.
never
How was
felt
he
touched.
beating it? I mean,
Because I think
Just
he was
cycling
riding
off.
his bike, right?
Cycling off.
The Russian Olympics. They
were
were
just-
they were paying off like
They were just
No, they
swapping
weren't
blood.
even paying off. They were literally swapping it.
Swap.
Like,
so,
people
so
knew-
you know what that
yo,
means,
people-
though, right? That
multiple
means
people
that
must have
all the
dropped out.
Russians were able to compete while still on.
Right.
Usually, people have to train on it and you cycle off for the test.
Right.
They were able to compete while sauced the fuck
Well, it
up
was
at the height of it. That's
it was because they were doing whatever they were doing with the lab. I'm saying,
Yeah.
how did Lance Lance Armstrong because I don't think he had an in with the lab, right?
No.
So how was he?
He was
beating?
just.
I don't know.
He knew how to dial it up,
beat
and he had it dialed in probably.
I think
You
EPO
know?
is hard to catch, probably. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Or if he did it, like maybe
But you got
maybe
a
he
blood
did,
cell test.
at
You gotta
that
do a blood
level,
cell
maybe
test.
he
Blood
did
test?
it. Maybe he did it like real legit blood dope. I don't know.
Right.
Did he maybe took the blood out and pumped it back in? 'Cause
Yeah.
then
I
that's
know.
probably harder to tell. I would.
But the fact that how many places back they had to go before anybody did that, passed the drug test. It was like the next
How did he
15
finally
spots
get
or
caught?
whatever.
He never did.
I thought he
No.
got caught like
He just kept
years and
denying.
years
Remember,
later.
he got people fired and shit for lying. He lied. He stuck to his guns, bro. That's a guy you want with you when you
Yeah,
do some
right.
bad
Yeah,
shit.
right.
Yeah.
He literally did not. People lost their jobs almost. I think people went to got I don't know, whatever, because he lied. It's pretty messed up.
I know, but I'm saying it finally came out. He owned up to it. They stripped him of everything. Who broke the story? Who outed him, or did he out himself?
I have no idea.
I don't remember either.
No idea. They said if you wanted to get the winner of that race that didn't blood dope, you have to go to place 18 or something like that.
Yeah. I heard that too. Yeah.
So it said he used performance-enhancing drugs that were undetectable at the time and strategically timed their use to avoid detection. So basically,
He probably had the heads up on
Yeah,
when
for
he
sure.
was going to get tested, though.
So he was just better than everybody else was at it,
But
and they
still,
hated him for it.
Yeah, everybody was doing it though. You know.
Yeah.
That's that's almost honestly. They say if the Tour de France is such a hard race that they say you probably can't do it unless you're doing something.
Yeah, so he admitted it that's what ended up happening. That's ridiculous. Come on. Certain things, you're riding a bike, you're hitting a baseball. Leave these guys alone. Let them do whatever they can do.
Yeah.
Again,
Right.
Another little guy sport though. No big guys are doing that. No big guys are jockeys. No big guys.
No,
What,
no,
everyone
right,
riding
right.
bikes?
The Tour de
Is it-
France.
I don't know. I think there's tall ass guys.
Yeah, but definitely tall guys.
200-pound guys doing the Tour de
No,
France.
no.
I don't know
You
about that, but I
got way
bet
too
you
much
there's
cardio.
6 foot people though, definitely, without a doubt.
Maybe it's
Yeah, your stride being
You're
that
definitely,
big,
bro.
definitely.
You're on an aerodyne. You're
What do you
6 foot.
think-
That
what-
fucking thing.
What do you
moves.
think Armstrong weighs? 1.
65,
That much?
70.
Really? I would have never
It's
thought
probably
that much.
5'10". How tall is it? That's
Yeah.
can you see how big he is?
Definitely a big stride.
I would have never thought that. But I would have said
big
140 maybe.
No way.
Really?
5'9.5".
Oh wow, bigger than
He's a
I thought.
tall guy.
Damn.
Tall.
He's a fucking tall guy. He's a tall guy. He's above average, right? 5'9" is
Does it
above
say what
average.
he weighs? Because he's
Fucking
probably still
monster.
165.
Yeah.
Maybe 5'9". I mean, he could be for sure, but he doesn't look it.
165.
Wow.
Pretty fucking good, buddy.
Look at you, pal.
He's a little smarter than me.
Listen, jump up and down, Rod. Let's see how much you weigh. I can be able to tell by the velocity up and down.
So let me ask you: when you were in
245.
DC, no riots, no protests.
No, there's one protester.
We had
There's
him
one
here.
guy.
Tom
One
River.
protester,
We had him
one
here.
guy that is
guy.
just a scraggler out there.
Yeah, honestly, he was saying dumb shit. He was talking. We were checking into the parade.
Yeah.
He's like, "Oh, you all here to see Donnie? You here to see Donnie?" I'm obviously keep my mouth shut. I'm like, "Yo," I kept going to Rockhold. I'm gonna smack this motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? And he kept going, "Hey, Rockhold!" Or no, he didn't know he was Rockhold. He called him, "Hey, Clove," because he had his own cigarettes that he was smoking. Right? He
He has
rolling
his
those.
own
So I called him
cigarettes.
Clove. No, he would roll him. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So he called him Clove. "Hey, Clove, how much Bitcoin do you own? How much Bitcoin you own?" I'm like, "What?" I don't know, because I think he was a rich guy. He looked the part. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
he does.
definitely.
We had him here though. Did you see Ocean County Mall? We had the No Kings protest.
Yeah, I know.
here.
How-
Was it big?
there?
Yeah, I went there. No, I didn't go there.
Did
I, saw
you?
it on
I
the
thought
fucking
you don't like Kings either.
Social media. Saw it.
What, is there a lot of people there?
Maybe 200 people.
Really?
Yeah.
In Ocean County Mall?
Yeah. Well,
What, the
right
outside?
right on Hooper Ave.
Oh, just what?
Just
Just
standing on the side of the road.
but no, they weren't trying to block nobody or do no dumb shit.
No. You ain't doing that in Florida. You see?
Yeah,
you see
I
that?
know. Love it.
People over, right?
You stand in front
But
of cars,
come on,
you
bro.
will get run over.
You
and
see,
will
you
go to
see
the
those
hospital.
you see those videos of people getting pulled out of their car. Say you get your kids in the car, God forbid, or anything.
I'm running them over.
Yeah, definitely. Even if I don't have the kids in the car,
Yeah,
I got to get home to the dog. I'm definitely.
Even if they're
running
not
away.
blocking me, I'm gonna make a right turn to run them over.
No, but that was pretty organized.
Yep.
Those websites, they were paying people. And,
You think
there was
those
no big
people in
turnoff.
Ocean County or in Tom's River here got paid to go there?
I don't know. It wasn't a big enough protest, I wouldn't think, but
200
maybe.
people. That's a lot of people, I think.
Well, that's what you
200 people's a lot of people, bro.
That's what I heard. Around 200 people.
That is a lot of people.
That's a lot.
in a
dude.
mall, all in a mob. That's
For something organized, 200 people is a lot of people. Is it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
bro.
well, for Ocean County, New Jersey,
Put 200
Mall,
people
I mean,
in a gym. It's a lot of people.
All right. I mean, isn't Walmart daughter behind the whole thing?
Think about a wedding. 200 people
Yeah.
at a wedding.
Yeah, true.
Pretty big.
True.
You know?
It's a pretty big wedding,
True.
for sure.
They want their money back from me.
As a matter of fact, Raj.
I figured DC was gonna be like a fucking.
Yeah, honestly,
ground
I thought I was
zero.
gonna. Honestly, this is what I've been doing lately. Cause what else? I forgot where else I went. I don't know, but I keep like, I was like, bro, it's gonna be traffic. There's probably gonna be fucking riots. People trying to get in front of my car. I'm not gonna fucking get out of there. It's gonna be blah, blah, blah. And honestly, it was cool. It was awesome. I had a fucking amazing time. And
Yeah.
I think because I preface it that I think it's gonna be a shit show.
You always
And
do.
was
it
bad.
ends up not being a shit show. It's like, wow, this was great.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Ready for the worst.
Low
Yeah.
expectations, high,
Yeah.
high
Big
yield.
time.
Yeah.
Big time.
I think that's the way to
Always.
go. Instead of being like, oh, think positive. Think there's going to be a space open. The car's going to pull out and you're going to be able to pull right in the front. Think that. And then when you go do that, you go up there and there's fucking no parking.
Like
you're
a
like,
nice surprise.
what the fuck?
Yeah.
Right?
It's a good way to look
Yeah,
at
I
it.
think
Yeah.
that's the
You're
way.
never-
That's
You're never
the way.
disappointed if you look
Yeah.
at it that way.
Yeah.
But that's also the glass half empty.
You're just a
type of
pessimistic
thing.
motherfucker.
Bro,
At that
I'm
point.
already getting I'm setting up for my next one. Because I'm going to Africa next
Oh,
month.
are
Right.
you?
You
doing
think you're
that.
gonna ripped out of the car and they're gonna try to fucking
Well-
club you to death?
Well, that, I
because
mean,
you're a
they're
white farmer.
killing white farmers.
Don't-
Good thing I don't farm.
Don't hold a shovel or rake and you'll be all right.
Yeah.
Wanna
Believe
Jolly
me,
Ranch? You want a Jolly
they'll
Rancher?
they'll see you holding a garden tool and know right away.
You want a
He's
Jolly
faking
Rancher?
it. He's faking it.
You want a Jolly Rancher?
No, I don't want anything from
Good. It's a joke about
You
a
never
dead
heard
farmer.
that?
No.
Go fuck a farmer.
it. It's a fucking dad joke.
But yeah, and Tim Kennedy said, yeah.
He's
they're-
coming? Oh.
No. I asked him, I said, bro, are they really, I swear, I said, bro, in South Africa, are they really, he goes, killing farmers? Yep. Killing white people? I'm like, what? He's like, yeah. I was like, am I safe? Am
they
I
had
safe? He
a-
said,
Apartheid over there for so
yeah, just keep
long.
talking.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
I'm saying they had apartheid over there for so long. It's kind of like they feel like they're getting their revenge now. On
Well, supposedly, I think the Dutch people came and took over South Africa, right? And those people took over the farms, and they want their farms back. But I hear when they get the farms back, they don't really run the farms too good.
How much time are we talking?
What?
Like, are we saying that these people came here hundreds of years ago and took
apartheid
these
wasn't that
farms?
long ago. 50 years
Well,
ago.
wait,
okay,
when Nelson Mandela was around, right?
It was from that time. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's wild. And you're going there. You're good.
You're fine. You don't look like a farmer.
You'll be with Corey. You're
Tim
kind
Kennedy
of the
said,
token.
stick
You're
by the
kind of
hotel, stay with the fight people, you'll be good.
Mm.
Bro, what sucks, though, it's winter down there.
Is it really?
It's set in southern hemisphere. You know that works, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, now
This guy.
that you reminded
This
me.
fucking guy.
I'm just saying. I don't know.
Right,
Maybe you
worse.
don't. Maybe you
You
don't. Maybe you don't.
Everything's like a skill test.
Oh, 100%.
He wants you to explain to him.
He's got a
wants-
globe
saying,
upstairs.
maybe
You
he
don't
don't.
have
He
to
wants
over
you to
here.
look dumb, so he's gonna set you up to look dumb.
Why don't you
How
set
am
up a
I
little
setting you up
diagram
to
of how
look
the
dumb?
sun works?
You always ask a question like if you know.
I always ask a question. How am I supposed to? What the fuck? How am I supposed to answer something?
Because you're not interviewing me. You could just make your point. I'm not being interrogated here.
Okay.
I'm assuming if it's summer here, it's winter over there.
Sure.
Right? Isn't
Northern
that how it
hemisphere,
works?
southern hemisphere.
True. Right.
Don't you think?
The way Earth rotates around the sun.
Yeah, but wouldn't that explain the Earth being round more than a flat Earth?
Of
would?
course it would. Yeah.
Right? You know what I mean? If there's
not-
Well, no. If you're
I
thinking
know,
the sun
I know,
doesn't
buddy.
set,
I know.
the sun goes like this over the plate, then no.
yeah, why
You know what I'm
would there
saying?
be?
That's what
why
they
would there?
think.
Yeah, I know, but I'm saying if that's the case, why would there? If it was flat, like
Then the sun's on this side of the plate per se.
but
then
it goes
it's,
like this.
and then it goes back over here. Boom. Then
so
it's,
then
it's
that's
summer over
winter,
here.
and that's
yeah.
that summer.
Yeah, winter, summer. That's the idea of it.
No, that makes sense. No,
None of it makes sense.
because winter,
I mean, you're not
summer, it
gonna
doesn't go
make
up
sense.
every day. It doesn't change winter, summer.
No, right,
So
right.
then what are you
yeah.
talking about?
That's
That
what
makes
they
no
think
sense.
about. You see the diagram, and that's what they think about it. It's
You
not
know,
like the sun
makes no
rotates
sense, though.
around the
Who
plate.
could explain it to you though?
Yeah.
Bryce Mitchell could explain it to you.
He definitely could.
Definitely
He
could tell
definitely
you
could.
why that is. And probably make some sense of it. His whole thing is
Bro, and it gets dark.
gravity and density. That's his whole thing. There is no such thing as gravity.
What's
There's only
crazy
density.
now though is when you see any of the fucking footage of the moon landing, you realize how fake it is.
Yeah.
It's almost like we were so stupid back then.
Well,
That we never saw what's possible. TV was fairly new, all that stuff. Like you show it to somebody today. Same thing with the Kennedy assassination. You look at it today, like when what's his name, Oswald gets shot. He literally walks up in front of him and shoots him in front of two cops.
Jack Ruby.
Jack Ruby. It looks like a fucking 60s movie. Like this is the worst acting ever. You know what I mean? Yeah.
What is real and what is fake? Is anything real?
Roger needs
I
to
don't
see
think
it.
so at this
He needs
point.
to be there. He needs to see
needs
it.
to
He
touch
needs to
it.
taste it and smell it.
That is
I
the
don't
truth
think
at this
You're
point.
the same way. You're a cynic of everything. You don't believe anything you're told. You don't believe mainstream media. I'm the same way. If I experience something firsthand, I believe it. I believe the fucking moon landing was real when it was. Well, it wasn't
Of
around,
course,
but when,
right.
when I was a kid, I don't believe it anymore.
I don't.
I definitely don't.
And thinking that we were in the space race, we were getting whooped in
Right.
the space race, and then also we just pulled this out of our ass
Exactly.
with a tinfoil
They said the
fucking
furthest
rover.
that you can go out to the space right now is 1/100th of the distance to the moon.
Because we lost the technology.
Come on, bro.
Yeah.
No way.
I always thought we went to the moon once.
Elon Musk will tell you we went to the moon now.
I mean, I don't think we've been to the moon
know.
at all, but on paper, we've been there twice, right? Wasn't it like 69 and 72 or something like that?
Twice?
Yeah, more than twice, I think. Right?
Was it more than twice? I thought it
No,
was
not
twice.
people on the moon.
People
No,
on the
but
moon.
they don't.
twice,
Remember
yeah.
they brought rocks back and shit, moon rocks back. Well, supposedly, I heard another thing that helium-3 or something like that is something they need, right?
For the quantum computing.
For the quantum computing, they need helium-3, which is I guess a mineral or something, or element, right? They need it, and it's supposedly abundant on the moon, and China is up there collecting it from the moon.
Get out of here.
With machines, not people.
Yeah, I don't know, but yeah.
Wow.
Well,
Imagine now you start mining the moon. That would be.
India's up there as well.
Yeah, it's in India.
That shit was crazy. Their UFO had like streamers coming off.
Yes,
Thank you. Oh my god.
Yes. But if India can do it, I mean, shit, we could probably do it. You would think.
Hey, I did this already, but the Indian that's been everywhere, seen everything. He's even been on the moon. You know what they call him?
You've said this before, but I forget.
Been there, done that.
Where do you get these jokes? These are all like the fucking newspaper, newspaper jokes.
Dad
Yes,
jokes for
yes.
sure.
Newspaper.
Or when you go sit down at the diner and they have the little thing that Frankie always reads.
Crossword puzzle
Yes,
and the jokes
yes,
into
and he
it.
takes
Yeah.
he takes the quiz every time.
I do.
That's where he gets his jokes from.
Switching gears a little bit, BJ Penn, dude, the story just keeps getting crazier and crazier. I think he's been
does.
arrested 4 times in like the last month for
All by his family calling on him.
violating TROs, I believe. He's got a TRO, temporary
Right.
restraining order, and he needs to be mentally evaluated.
He said it with the acronym too, because you had a couple TROs in your day when you say it like that, right?
Yeah, you don't want an FRO. That's
I
that's
don't even know.
the
I
bad
don't even
one.
want that. That
That's
sounds
the
real
one.
bad.
It's a final restraining order. That's not good. You don't
Yeah.
want that. But anyway, do you think? I mean, you obviously they seem to step in and help all, especially legends. You think the UFC is stepping in at all and helping him?
I know.
Not sure. No, you don't think so.
What do you mean helping him though? How?
Yeah, like how
I don't know.
can
They helped Quentin Rampage Jackson when he went on his mental breakdown with his monster truck and ran over a bunch of.
I don't know. Call it a mental breakdown. He fucking had a road rage incident, right?
No, it was like a mental breakdown. I think he talked about it. It was like,
Really?
yeah.
Okay. I don't know. I mean, I'm saying I don't know how they can help him though. You know what I mean? I just don't know how you can help him. Like, do you think they're reaching out? Maybe I could see maybe Dana reaching out.
trying to get him help,
saying,
I guess.
Hey, how you doing, bro? Again,
You don't know how if it's.
I don't
not
even
real
like
or not.
talking about it. I feel like we don't know enough, and I feel bad for
That's
BJ.
the only reason I'm
You know what I
talking
mean?
about it is because I feel bad
Yeah.
because I don't know what he's going through. I don't know if it's mental. I don't know what is going. Obviously, I don't think that his family's not real. I don't believe that. But
At first, I was like, I don't know. At first, when he's talking about his mom, I'm like, bro, I mean,
I know.
he would know, right? Wouldn't he know?
he's talking
But then,
about
like, he's
his
talking about his
mom.
brothers, and like, I see the brothers. I'm like, dude, looks
the
like
guy is an absolute legend. This is maybe we'll just let it go at this, and I would like to see him get whatever help he needs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But if they
No.
really took his family, that's fucked up too.
No.
Like that's what I'm saying.
I
This
know.
world is, what this world
Stranger
is lately,
shit has
you know,
happened,
and I don't
bro.
know, in
It really
Hawaii,
has.
that shit happened in Hawaii. You know.
Yeah, they're trying to grab land.
Who's the guy who definitely went off the deep end, was stripping and bully beatdown guy? What's his name?
Jason.
Yeah, Mayhem Miller.
Mayhem Miller. I mean,
Right.
that guy was getting naked in churches. I don't know if that was drug related or mental.
Probably,
He
yeah, probably.
stripped off
was.
naked in a church. Was in a church. They found him in a church,
but like
butt
not
naked.
during like mass.
No,
right?
no, it was
like
empty,
okay.
snuck in there. I don't know if it was
that's better.
drugs
Yeah,
or
a couple
mental.
Hail Marys.
But he seems to have. I see him interviewed a lot now, and he seems to have.
Yeah.
No, he's
he
on
does, yeah.
straighten himself out.
that Adam Hunter's podcast a bunch. He's buddies with Adam Hunter.
So
Yeah.
I hope the same for BJ. I hope that he can get this resolved and whatever needs to happen for him to get well. I hope it happens for him because
Yeah,
he's a
it's a
beloved
cra-
guy.
it's a
or
crazy
or
story.
they find his real family.
This guy.
You know what I mean?
This
Imagine
guy.
that though.
This
I mean,
guy. This
you,
guy.
you don't know. You don't know.
I'm saying, honest.
His
No.
whole
Do
family. I
think
could
that-
see if they
do I
replaced
think
his
that?
mom,
No.
but his whole
But-
family is tough. But I
Yeah.
mean, you don't know. They are very wealthy people in Hawaii, and a lot of crazy stuff is happening in Hawaii.
True.
You know, I'm not saying anything.
And Hawaii's probably its own like. It's like even though it's a state of the United States,
Yeah.
it's got to have its own like. It's a fucking island, bro. So far away.
Again, it comes
Yeah,
back to
yeah.
what is real. I saw Gerard put something up about that today. I think I sent it to you. Gerard from Slick and Thick said like, "What is real today? Like, what is real?" You know
Yeah.
what I mean,
Right.
Nothing.
almost.
It just makes me think
What
about it.
is
All the
real?
history that I've studied, like most
What
of it's
is
probably
real?
not real. Dude. Yeah.
Don't go down that road. We'll get canceled.
No, well, it's great. Well, we don't know what we're doing here, right? Are we getting up in World War III?
We got freaking carriers in
You don't
the,
think
in
so?
the, in the
Bro,
seas
I will,
over
I
there.
will
It's-
say, and I kind of want Andrew's take on this, but that's not what I voted for.
No, that's what not what any of us
I voted
voted
to
for.
stay out of wars.
Yeah,
For
and
sure.
that's what our guy ran on.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? That's what I don't get.
I would have a real issue with that if we get involved
Yes, right.
in any wars.
And-
with
and just
anybody,
the way that it-
unless we're being attacked on our own.
Just
fucking
the way
soil.
that it's all working out, where they're saying the same thing they said before we got in Iraq. Yeah, with you know,
WMD.
they're 18 months away from having a nuclear
They've been
bomb. Like
saying
he was saying that for how
10
many
years they've been
It's the
way
same
away
guy.
More than 10.
It's
More
the
than
same exact guy saying the same exact stuff.
exactly.
And we've already done this before. So it's kind of like there's no other way around it, that we have to go to a shooting war. We have to move, like we're moving carriers over to the seas over there. That's not good.
Yeah, no.
And even if you're in a support role, we're in a support role everywhere in the fucking world. Every war we're supporting. How
Trump
long can you
is
do that
kinda
for?
known to flex his muscle, show a force. There's some circumstances where I think I'm okay with that, but I'm not okay at all with getting involved in anybody
No.
else's war and our troops dying. I'm not in
especially
no way
like
okay with that.
I was listening to a podcast today. It was talking about how like our main concern right now has got to be like getting all the people out of this country that came here that shouldn't be here, right? That should be our main concern. It shouldn't be all our resources are to go fight a foreign war, where these people embed themselves here, the people that we don't want here. You know, it's just
We just gave Ukraine how much money?
again.
Yeah.
Billions.
Was it billions?
Oh.
Definitely in the
Yeah.
hundreds of millions for sure.
No, I think
Billions.
Was it billions?
Yeah, I think now.
And now look at what we're doing. You know what I mean? This is not what I voted for.
No. But it is kind of like,
and that's what I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But like I support the army. I support our military.
100%.
But I don't want to go to
Right.
war. You could still do both.
100%.
You still, you know what I mean? I want the best for our soldiers. I'm glad we do have these soldiers to protect us, God forbid. And I don't want to
Protect
send them to fucking war.
Us.
You know what I'm
said
saying?
it. Protect us.
Yeah, right.
We're not the
Right.
world's fucking
Police,
military
yeah.
police.
it's scary though that we're so much like Rome. Like Rome's whole like all the money they made, their whole like GDP per se was all off of war, going to fight wars, and most of our money that's made here is selling weapons around the world.
Yeah.
And that's what our economy is like propped up
They
on. That's
privatized
fucking
that.
scary.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
privatized
that's
The
scary.
it was the military industrial complex.
Yeah, that's scary to think that, right? Like you could stop. We could stop making bombs and
They
missiles
have,
for
they have
everybody,
a
but
couple
it's like
industrial complexes now, though. You have the military industrial complex. You have the health industrial.
Yeah, the
complex,
pharmaceutical,
you
right,
know?
right, yeah.
Or pharmaceutical, however you want to
For
say
sure.
it. You know? The hospitals. It's kind of all the same shit, all the way, all the friggin' hurt us. You know what I mean?
yeah.
It
Or at
really
least
does. All
extort-
that
at
does
least
hurt
extort
us.
it,
I
right?
feel like we had one chance, you know what I mean? The people spoke, and he got in, and now it's like
I know.
shit that's happening. I'm
I
not
know.
saying I'm I'm not questioning my vote yet, but I'm starting to think I might question my vote. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but like
Well,
that's
I
what
don't.
I'm saying.
You still
Dave
can't
Smith,
question your vote given the
right,
alternative.
exactly,
What was the alternative?
exactly, 'cause, like,
We
Dave-
really had no choice.
I
We're kind of
just
backed in
seen
a corner,
our buddy-
right? I mean,
but still not what I voted for. Dave Smith
No.
is
Yeah, I just
probably
I seen our
one
guy,
of the best,
yeah.
most well-spoken people.
Yeah, and like he's
about
saying,
this.
he's
Yeah.
saying
Yeah.
he regrets his vote.
Yeah.
He's saying I almost rather vote for Kamala. But at that point, like we would have probably been
Definitely,
here
right.
already.
We at
We'd
least
have already
saved
been
ourselves.
involved already. I
we
feel
already
like,
we saved ourselves like 150 days at least, whatever it is.
I'm just saying, like, you know, and I do get what Dave Smith's saying. It's like, dude, this is not what we voted for, so I should have voted for the other person. No, we shouldn't have voted. And I think that's what I'm fucking gonna do from now on. Honestly.
Yeah,
you
but
always vote, you don't
doesn't
vote.
matter.
Why? Well, and even you, I used to tell you to vote. Like,
Yeah.
why? Why? Because it don't fucking matter, bro. It don't matter who's in office. It's the same playbook all the time. I mean,
Yeah,
literally,
yeah.
the same playbook now.
I know, and a lot of the same people.
And like, whoa, like I told you, bro. I feel like they let us think we gotta win. That's what they did.
I don't
Like, because if they stole it in 2020, they would have stolen in 2024. They said, fuck it. We'll let them get a win.
I think Trump
We
went
got
in there
this-
with good intentions. I just
Well,
think
then what
that
happened?
the apparatus has been in motion for so many
Like, I
years
do still
that it's
think
so
Trump
hard to
wants-
crack. Like
I do
the deep state, whatever
Well,
we call
what
it,
about-
deep
I know,
state.
yeah,
is
but I
like-
do think Trump still wants good for America. I do. I think he
Right.
wants to do the right stuff. But like, who is in his ear, bro? Who is in his ear? Who's telling him? Like, who's pulling on his sleeve? Because there's no way. Like, dude, you read.
But no matter-
I didn't start any wars. No wars. And the whole time I was there, I stopped the wars. I'll get in. I'm gonna stop the Israel conflict. I'm gonna stop the Ukraine conflict. Nah, bitch, you didn't do none of that yet.
I
know?
think he
you say
might have thought he could, but then he got
somebody's
into it.
in his ear. It's the American people that you work for. You should listen to.
But
the
how
voice
about
of the
this?
American people.
He's trying to stop the Ukraine war. They're in peace talks, and while they're in peace talks, the Ukraine goes and launches the drone attack that destroys all their friggin' bombers. Like, how can you try to put an end to this war if they're at the table? I got him at the table, and this dude behind our backs. Well, maybe we knew about it. We might have definitely
I'm
knew
not
about it. We
saying-
don't know
I'm
that.
not saying that
But
he
again,
gets-
they're
no.
fucking
But, okay,
dive bombing these
listen,
guys.
I'm not
There's
saying
no
he
way.
could stop that. That's kind of out of his hands. But he could not start another one.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
No,
we could
right,
not get
right.
involved in another one. That
Yeah.
could definitely happen.
And why do we keep fighting with people so fucking far away? I could see if we have conflict with Mexico,
Mexico,
conflict with
yeah.
Canada, conflict. Then it's like, all right, well, like at least they're right here. And like,
Yeah, God forbid something happens. Right.
yeah,
there's money.
of course there is.
People get rich off war.
I guess,
and
and
regular
it's almost like
people like
if it's
us
far
die.
enough away from the American people, then we don't really have to see what's going on there. You might see some clips, but you have the ability to turn it off. If it was right here,
Right.
then you might get an uprising, and people are like, "Bro, this bomb's hitting
Right.
down the road from me." You know,
Right.
it's like, we just do it far enough away. We could just extract the money.
Are you happy with what is going on now? With Trump's support of Israel, and are you comfortable with that, and the fact that we are leaning towards getting American involvement overseas again?
I don't think we're gonna have boots on the ground there. I think last time he was in, when he took out Soleimani, the one general.
And he died like
Yeah.
a dog.
Yeah.
Well, that was what it is. Like, I don't think the guy wants wars, but I also think, despite what a lot of people think of Israel right now, myself included, like, they're still our ally, even though I don't believe they're our greatest ally, but that's just what it is. So we have to support them.
Well,
I mean,
well,
they were in the
you say
middle
we
of-
have to. Why? Why do we have to?
Because it's the same way if, like, Great Britain was attacked, or
But it's not though, because they're not in.
no, but I'm saying
NATO,
like they're
they're
an
not in,
but
you
they're
know.
an
We
ally
are
of.
NATO. Let's be honest. America is NATO. We are NATO.
Right, right.
There is
yeah,
nobody
right,
else. It's us.
That is true.
Right.
And again, we are NATO and supporting that, and that's in Europe, most of it. So it's like, again,
But as
you know.
Chris said before, like, peace talks with Ukraine and Russia, Ukraine shoots off some missiles and blows up whatever. Same thing with Israel. We're in the middle of peace talks with Iran. They go and attack Iran. Like,
Right.
it's
Right.
not that easy because you have all these factions that are constantly fighting him. So he has to do what he has to do. I don't think we're going to get into a kinetic war, like a traditional war, like when we invaded Iraq. I think it's just going to be like
Yeah,
precision.
we're
We'll
going to
take
be
them out.
we're going to be another support
Drone.
to the third.
Yeah, and then we just create.
So, like,
people
at what-
hate us. People
and
hate us.
absolutely.
At what point do we like? All right, we're
They
we're
do.
we're
They
the
love
only
us
reason
because
Ukraine's
we're
in
the
the
most
war.
sought-after country to come to. So.
We're-
Yeah.
You know, like at what point do we just we are one half of
hate our
World War III,
values.
right?
No, but,
but like,
do those people there want to come here? I don't know.
They want to come here because it's a better way of life.
I
but they
say
wanna
Mexico
bring-
does. Yeah, people from
they
Mexico
wanna
and South
adopt
America,
their
but does the
traditions.
Middle East want to come here?
I don't know about so much
That's
about
what I
the
mean.
Middle East.
And that's who hates us.
Yeah.
Because we're going there bombing all these fucking people.
But why
for
do
someone
the
else.
Mexicans want to come here? But yet they're waving Mexican flags, but they're burning cars
Yeah,
down
yeah,
in
that
L.A.
makes
Well,
sense.
don't just
Makes
go
sense.
back there.
Yeah.
It's mind-blowing.
We'll give you a free
Yeah.
ride, and they're giving $1,000. I don't get. Yeah.
It's the only place in the world you could do that. Come, wave an American, protest the country you're in, wave your own flag,
Yes.
and burn shit down.
From the country you just
Crazy.
left. There,
It's crazy.
that's because that wasn't Mexican people.
like you ultimately have to watch who you listen to, especially a lot of these like conservative influencers, like the Con Inc. people, like the Ben Shapiro's and the Charlie
Owens.
Kirks. Like Candace Owens, I respect her. Like don't disagree with everything she says, but I respect her because she took on Israel and what really is. But like you have to look at like what he says versus what actually happens,
Right, of
Because that's
course.
always been the case, even in the first administration. He'll do things and he'll say things, and then everyone gets all bent out of shape. And all these people that they hated him or they didn't like him anymore after Biden
That's
took
why
off.
I didn't completely write him off.
But
I
even
said,
after
"We'll see what he
Biden took
does."
office, you saw all these people turn on him, and they never talked about the election. They never talked about the election fraud. They never talked about all the shenanigans that went on in all these states with the ballots. And they were so quick to like endorse Ron because Ron is a neocon like all these other Republicans. And the second Trump got that nomination and was clear that he was the front runner, they quickly went back to him. They did the same thing before. A lot of those guys were never Trump the first time. Then they were like riding his coattails. It's the same thing.
Well,
The
of course,
second he
though,
steps
right?
out of line of what they want, they're quick to, whatever. And then you'll see all the posts like you're seeing now. Like you have to always watch like what he does versus like what he says because
That's fair.
there's a thing with Trump, and people don't realize this, is like he's got a caricature of himself like the Donald, where like he's like off, he's like goofy, he's saying crazy things, and then there's the Donald in private where you see him in other speeches where he's very polished and reserved and he's taking care of business. And that's because that's always throwing off the scent of people, because everyone's always just thinking like, well, that's crazy what's going on. But like while the news cycle's talking about all these things, all this shit he said today or what he wants to do, like he's off doing other things.
Right.
Like he's just
When he's saying he's going to buy Greenland and he's doing making Canada the 51st state.
it's a cat with a laser pointer. Like
That's
people don't realize that.
Fair, and that's a good point. And I'm not condemning him or anything yet. I'm just saying I'm concerned.
But
we
the
have moved aircraft carriers though
no, absolutely.
over there. Yeah, and maybe it's just a show of force.
I mean, but the thing too
I
is
get it,
like
Which he's good at.
you
He's
have to
very good at
realize
it.
also
Well,
like,
that's-
and I don't agree with this, but I saw a map today of like Iran and how many military bases we have surrounding them on both sides. Regardless, we have to protect our people that are over there of what's going on. So you have to put these carriers in position to
Right.
protect them, regardless.
Just to say, hey, yeah.
Just as like a show of power. Yeah, that's what it is. And ultimately, like, you shouldn't trust Trump 100%. You shouldn't trust any politician 100% because ultimately they're going to do what they think is best, even if it's not in our best interests, but that's what it is.
It's scary though.
Yeah, it's kind of prophesized, right?
It's the same thing with like after 2020 with the BLM and the Summer of Love. Like all these people flying the blue line flags, those cops went and shut everyone's businesses down, arresting people for playing basketball in the park, people in the ocean, like. But you have blind support of them, the cops. Like I have no problem with the cops, but
When they do that,
that did happen, and I
right.
understand like they're doing their job,
Yeah,
but like,
They're not.
but
They're
so were the
not.
fuck.
They're
but,
not
but,
doing their job.
But they were
They're
doing their job,
enforcing policy and mandates.
right? But they're doing their
That's not what
job
they were
because
hired
what
to
is
do.
the what is the
Yeah.
alternative?
But again,
to
if
doing
they
that?
say,
they're
hey,
told to do that.
yeah,
by
if you
their-
don't
by
do this,
their
your
higher
kids
up.
don't eat. That's what they.
Because ultimately, like they're looking at their careers and their families at home, and like
Right.
we're just
There's a
doing
hill
what we're told.
everybody will die on, right? There
Yes.
was a hill you would die on.
Yeah.
And I've talked about there was a hill I would die on. There should be a hill everybody will die on. And for some cops during those times, and I think there's ways around it. We had some cops on here. I won't mention any names. They could say I'm not going on
Right.
that detail. Send somebody else for that detail.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because there are some guys that are just going to be yes men and women, and they're just going to do whatever they're told. And there's other people that do the right thing. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Right. How many of those cops got suspended? How many of those cops left without?
I mean, but when you're a cop and you're looking at like, oh shit, I got 20 more years on the force. Like, this is my whole life.
It's a hard decision.
This is my whole life. Like, I have a pension.
Yeah.
I have this.
Right,
I have
right.
that.
Were
Like,
you,
would that go
okay,
away?
you were willing to lose everything, right?
Yeah.
Start over. So was I.
Yeah,
What's the difference?
because we're bigger people than these people. That's what it is. And so, like, it's the same thing. It's like you blindly support people that don't always have your best interest because they're just doing what they think is the right thing. So don't do that with Trump. Like, I love the guy, but until he proves
You're
me
gonna
wrong.
follow him into a
That's
fucking
a very,
burning building.
very valid point. Maybe I didn't represent that well when I first spoke on it, but I'm concerned. You know what I mean?
It's the
I'm
session the
concerned
Judas
because-
goat. It's the
yeah.
Judas goat. It's the Judas goat, the goat that will lead the herd off the cliff, but they'll quickly turn around.
Yeah.
Like, it's that you follow them, you believe them, you listen to them, and you don't realize they're leading you into oblivion. And
Isn't
that's
that
it is.
what just every politician seems like it
Yeah.
is?
Yeah.
I mean,
Right.
honestly, like, he's the only politician I actually like, because you look at all these other ones, like we're talking Ted Cruz earlier.
Yeah,
Ted Cruz
that
is
interview with Tucker
Yeah.
was
all
great.
is
Right.
like the Republicans with Israel are just as bad as the Democrats with all the shit they do. Like, they're all one and the same, just for other things. Like, you got to realize, like, they're all friends. Like,
Yeah,
they all
dude, they're all hanging
when
out.
they're out of session, they're all like out at at bars and wherever.
Events.
Like,
Yeah,
having
right,
events.
right.
They're talking to their donor. Like, that's what
Lobbyists,
it
yeah.
is. Lobbyists. They don't care about
It
us.
is crazy with Trump, though. He campaigned saying that he's going to have the biggest mass deportation in American history. Then he
Doesn't
actually
have it, though. But he's got a lot of pushback.
But what I'm saying is that we're so used to politicians saying one thing and just never doing it that he's actually doing what he absolutely said
Well,
he
he
was
did
going
that
to
the
do
first
over
term,
and
too.
over again.
He
And there
tried to.
people are like,
Come
"Oh
on.
my God, I can't believe you're doing this." That's all he talked about the whole time. We're
But
just so
you're-
used to
but-
them lying.
But you're seeing
yes,
now,
we're just
you're
so
seeing
used to
now,
them lying.
especially with these like protests that have been or riots. Let's not call them protests in LA. Like, there are groups and a lot of fucking money behind
Yes.
these protests. These aren't organic. Just like these
No,
No Kings
right,
things.
right.
You're talking the one Walton daughter was supporting it,
Isn't
funding
that
it.
supposedly over tariffs? She's pissed
No,
off
but
the
she's
tariffs?
not. If you look, she's not on the board. She's not. Has nothing to do with the business.
She's just one that never had
trust
to work in her
fund
life.
kid. Yes,
Like, all
yes.
these women that like,
That's
sit
not the
home and watch
Walmart
View all
brand.
day that have that are liberals that
And
have no fucking
imagine
clue
the
about
rest
anything.
of the Walton family is like, yo, they're burning down Walmarts. So you're spending our money to fund these protests that these people are going in and burning down our stores. Like, what the fuck are you
they had to
doing?
put out a statement about it. Walmart. They put out a statement. We don't condone or
Yeah, she's
anything that
just
she said.
she's the rogue fucking.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean they
Yeah.
had to, but you have to realize there's big money at play. Like, you
Yeah.
can't just. I mean, I think you should just rip the fucking Band-Aid off and do it. But you're seeing like the pushback you're gonna get, so you have to.
You got to wonder though, like you could trace all this stuff back to certain people. How are those people still allowed to do this stuff? How is like a George Soros who's clearly trying to destroy America? How are you still allowed to do this? I guess there's all these legal loopholes and you're doing it through businesses, but like that, how is that not an enemy of the state?
Well, there's
how are we
this,
allowing
this
that?
U.S. aid money
Right.
that goes out because I listened to a podcast with Mike Benz. I think he was on Rogan. He was talking about it. Like, the CIA, I think it was Jimmy Carter. Like, he pulled a lot of shit that they were able to do back because it was unpopular with the American public. But now the government funds U.S. aid, and they do all the shit
Right.
through nonprofits that the CIA used to be involved with and have their hands in,
Right.
especially in other countries. Like,
And
you
now
have
it was
this
traceable
group,
at one point. Now
right?
it's
You
not
have this
traceable.
group that's going over there to, like, that we make fun of it, transgender whatever in Africa.
And
like-
and really that money's just coming back.
Yeah, money's coming back, but they're doing shit to like topple regimes there,
Right.
and
Yeah,
shit.
yeah.
So like,
Right.
that's what happens.
NGOs, right?
And these
They're
NGOs,
not
and that's
government,
where
yeah.
this money's come. A lot of this money's coming from these NGOs, like with these fucking riots and these protests. Like, it's not organic. Like, just
Right.
like BLM wasn't organic.
They're
You think a
funding.
guy-
They're funding it with our own money, essentially,
Right.
which is
we're
fucking wild.
our tax dollars are
paying for
funding this shit,
people to fund it,
and
right.
you see, like, especially with like BLM, you think like some random dude got killed by the cops, and all of a sudden, every major corporation, all your local businesses, all like sports teams, you think they all of a sudden just decided to like go lockstep in on these protests and this movement? Absolutely not.
Right. This was all established.
It's all
before. They're
established,
just waiting for
you
it.
know.
Yeah,
So-
they're waiting for the right thing to set it off.
So that's what's going on, and that's what you're fighting every day. Like, especially if you're Trump. I mean, I'm not saying like he's doing the right or the wrong thing. I'm just saying, like, that is what he's dealing with every day.
That makes sense.
So you're happy you voted for him.
I mean, I'm happy up to this
there
point,
was-
but
there
also
really was
like,
no alternative.
but at
Yeah,
this
there
point,
really
like, you
wasn't.
have to realize, like,
There really wasn't an alternative.
with Trump, like his support was so crazy. Like, I don't think they could have pulled what they did in 2020 again, because you saw down ballot in a lot of races. California was taking 2 weeks to count votes, and of course, it always goes for the Democrats' favor when it's close. Like,
well, the fact that they like wouldn't let anybody go to the polls and everyone was voting from home, like you kind of knew it was.
Bro, even this,
the jig was up, bro. You
even
did
this, this last primary we had for governor, all the Democrats were mail-ins.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
yeah,
There should be no more mail-ins. What are we doing?
yes.
Well, I mean,
Because
Certain
Unless
people,
you're
certain
an
people,
absent
yes.
person, you're in military, you're
Right.
away, you're sick. Yeah, if there's something like that.
because it's always like, oh, that poor person that they can't get to the polls. Why, like, were they always fucking able to get to the polls,
Yeah.
or were they
Yes,
not able
right,
to?
right.
And maybe that's the case. Like, but how much of it is that?
How about you make more polling stations
Exactly.
more
Make it
easily
more
accessible
right-
for
exactly.
people instead of
Yeah.
saying, hey, you don't need an ID. You
Like,
can
we
just
need,
send
we
it
need
in
voting
the mail.
machines that have algorithms that weigh votes. No, like, there's no weighing votes. It's like either Democrat or Republican.
Right.
That's
Right.
all it is.
Right.
Like, it's bullshit. It's all bullshit.
You know, when I voted in PA, like this last election, they gave me so much. Like when you get a license in a state, you sign up right there to vote. And
Right.
they were telling me like, oh, you're not registered to vote. I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm not registered to vote. Like, yeah, I'm like, dude, I have a Pennsylvania driver's license. Like, I'm registered to vote. You know, they were giving me all types of shit. It was almost like, yeah,
But yeah, other places you could vote without an ID.
without an ID,
Yeah.
with nothing.
It doesn't make sense.
Like, I don't know.
That
Like,
makes
you know,
no
you go to
sense
the
at all.
the polls here. Like, you know, they have that long piece of paper now. Like, it goes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what happens to that paper. I don't know what, like, when that's all connected to a network. I don't know what happens to that.
So the idea essentially is they want to say if you can get here and vote, then your vote counts.
Yeah.
If you can get here from wherever else in the world you
No,
came
but
from,
no.
if you could get to this voting ballot,
No, 'cause
you
the
know,
mail-ins, they count
yeah,
too.
then you can mail it in, right?
Yeah.
Are we fucked?
I mean,
are
like,
we
in
just
20
putting off the
We're
inevitable?
not-
Probably.
We're not fucked because he wouldn't have won this last time. So there is still,
Yeah, but
some-
you know,
there
is he
still
going to be able to
justice
enact
to our
change?
system, but
So far, I guess he got some stuff done with the tariffs, and he's made some trade deals. And so far, it's just been executive orders saying, "Hey, you can't say fag in school. You can't say this or whatever." You know what I mean? It
But
hasn't
most
been
of the
anything
things he's
like
issued
lasting.
executive orders on that have gotten
But are they?
challenged.
They're not. That's not law. Executive order is just. It still has to be like what ratified or whatever.
Well,
it
what
is,
I'm
right?
saying, like, a lot of things that he's gone and done that these states or these organizations like the ACLU have challenged, like, most of them have been upheld by the Supreme Court ultimately, so he was able to do it.
Right.
I saw they just
'Cause-
upheld any state that I think it was Tennessee.
Yeah, with the trans stuff.
Transgender.
Yeah.
That basically was upheld, but states that allow transgenders to compete won't affect those states, but it just makes a better case if anything goes to the Supreme Court is basically what or I guess it wouldn't be the Supreme Court because the Supreme Court made a decision. I guess it would be the state courts,
Right.
right? It makes a better case to
Something
not
like that.
allow it to happen.
Right.
You know, they hide behind that Title IX, which was
I
never
mean,
what
like,
it was intended
no
for.
one really understands, like, the true power of
Mm-hmm.
the president, because we've always been, you know, there's 3 branches of government. Like, Congress has to do this, Congress has to
Yeah,
do
but he's
that.
the only one that's elected by all the people. So
Right.
Right.
So he's got a ton of power, and, like, you're seeing that. But this is good though, because if there's
Congress
another
elected by
president that,
people.
you know,
Yeah,
if a
but-
Democrat gets in, and he does certain things, like,
Just in
these
the
powers
state.
need to be, like, established. Like, yes, you're allowed to do
They're
this. You
saying
know, you're
he
allowed to
can't
do this.
declare war. It has to be ratified by Congress.
That is
Anyway.
true. But, like,
But, haven't we not been in a war since World
No.
War II?
Right.
I think
that
it
was
was
that was
what-
the last
was it-
actual war.
But
They've all
didn't it go through? Did Iraq go through Congress or Afghanistan?
No, they were military exercises.
Yeah.
They
So,
weren't
like,
even considered wars, even though it was the longest war in
Right.
history. Yeah.
but I agree with that. Like, but also I don't trust Congress,
Right.
because Congress is fucking terrible. Like, for instance, you saw, I think it was yesterday or 2 days ago, the FBI gave Congress a bunch of evidence that China was printing our ballots from 2020. They have them on video that they were sending over here, and they were blank ballots that, you know, to swing the election for Biden. Like, Congress, if you look at all, they always have these committees.
Yeah, it's
They-
all
you know,
just
it's like
show
we're giving it to
trials. It's all
Congress, show
nonsense.
trials. Jim Jordan,
Yeah.
the Democrats with J6.
They are cool to watch.
It's all
though.
bullshit.
It's fun when they
Like
start-
It's
Frankie
good for-
says, nobody's ever held a
No,
camera.
and that's the
Never,
truth. The only
ever.
person they sent to prison was fucking Steve Bannon. 'Cause
Wait,
he
yeah,
told them to
yeah.
go fuck themselves.
Didn't
Essentially.
didn't that senator from Jersey, was it Menendez, go to prison?
yeah.
He did go to prison.
Accepting-
But that was-
accepting
that-
gold.
he
But
was-
again,
that
they
was a
flipped
whole
on
other-
him. The Democrats flipped on him because
Yeah.
he was their guy, and then they
But
kind
it's
of
funny.
flipped
All the
on him.
Democrats in Hudson County that supported him told him said we got to go, but they all supported his son, who's a congressman up there now. So it's all politics.
Yeah, it's all nonsense.
You know.
And I'm okay with any of that. I want to go
Right.
back to a time when I didn't have to pay attention to any of this shit. Because
When-
really,
when-
like, nothing
when
really
was
mattered
that?
either
When
way.
was that?
But you
When-
see, like,
I don't know.
not
Maybe
paying
I was just in
attention
that time of my life, but it wasn't until the
But not paying
pandemic.
attention to it for so long is why we're in this boat.
I
that
know,
we're in,
I know.
Unfortunately.
But I'd let you guys pay attention to it.
But you look
like,
back in the day when I was a kid, like, and even in high school and college, it didn't matter like it does now.
No, I know.
You know?
Yeah. My parents didn't worry about politics.
Yeah.
We weren't
Like
that
when they
type of
push
family.
these bills through, right? You don't understand that they stuff so much in these bills.
Yes.
And they do these fucking middle of the night fucking,
right.
votes on them. They're $1 trillion bills, and they do like a one issue thing. They tell you it's about like
Yeah, or
whatever,
they give
like
it a fancy
like
name,
abortion,
right, yeah.
And there's so much packed in there that they don't tell you about,
Yes.
and then before you know it, it's passed.
And look, none of this would matter if we weren't $35 trillion in debt too, right? Like, there could be all this corruption, all this money going everywhere, all this other stuff. But if somehow they were balancing the budget per se and we weren't in all
who
this
cares?
debt, it's like no one gives a fuck,
But
right?
honestly,
Isn't that
like,
messed up?
But like,
Hey, well,
but-
the
Yeah.
balance was budget was
Clinton
Clinton was the last
Clinton,
one.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's not
But,
that
like-
long ago. But then how many wars did
but
we go
truly,
through?
like, who are we in debt to?
I know.
I know.
Yeah,
Like,
I
what
know.
happens
the
if you don't
world
pay
is
that-
in debt.
Right.
Yes,
Like,
the
what
world.
if we just
Everyone's
said,
in
how
debt
is
to
the world in
everybody.
debt?
We're not making these
Yeah.
payments anymore. And you know what? We're issuing our own currency. Like, go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
What happens?
As long as we stay in America, this is worth $20.
Yeah.
If I
Like,
go
what-
outside of
yeah.
it, maybe it's not. But
Doesn't it devalue our dollar?
it does big
Yeah, of
time.
course.
And on the world
The
stage,
yen-
because
is the yen worth more than a dollar? It was at one point, wasn't it?
I'm not sure.
you can't. It's like not even. They don't give real information out of China, and China's like it's gonna fucking crumble. You can't have people that are essentially slave labor. If you look at China, 95% of China is still fucking villages and shit.
And
There's
that's what Scott
you know-
Besson, the Treasury guy, said. He's like, you know, China wants to become more of a consumption economy. They're mainly just manufacturing.
Yes,
like
right,
they don't
right,
consume
right.
like we do. We want to become more of a manufacturing economy. So like us making a deal with them, it benefits both of us. Even though like it looks like, you know, we would ultimately suffer because having to make everything here would be way more expensive. But like they want to consume our
And
products.
it is pretty
Mm-hmm.
cool to be able
You know?
to buy a samurai sword for like $8 off fucking Timo.
This is true. Look, this is all Timo all over the table right here.
Timo's
you
great.
kidding me?
Yeah.
It is. How they do it so cheap is because they take the labor cost out of everything. That's why everything's so cheap.
Yeah.
You make that here. There's a union guy. He's getting freaking $42 an hour to make the
Rogers
knife.
got to
He's-
deliver it on the
yeah,
truck.
Rogers got to deliver it.
3-hour lunch
There's the
break.
guy.
It's-
There's the guy supervising him over his shoulder. You know, just
Yeah.
not doing anything.
Yeah, that's the truth.
Guys on his-
Instead of guy
Guy's
just
having
like
a cigarette.
as soon as the guy's done working in China, he sleeps right there, right next to
Yeah.
the machine. And
Well, that was like the iPhone factories at Foxconn.
Yeah, when they used to jump out the
people live
windows.
there. People
Yeah.
were jumping out the
They had
windows,
nets.
killing
they
themselves.
put nets.
Yeah.
They said
Yeah.
they would just bounce and come right back
Yeah.
through the window.
Who was that that said that?
Yeah, no, who was that? There was a comedian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bill Burr, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Was it Burr?
And we know that, and even the most like righteous of us, we know that that's happening to get our iPhone cheap, and we don't give a fuck.
But that's the thing is like,
Like,
all
but
these.
can you care about all this stuff realistically? Like most of us, we don't have like you have to be super wealthy, super well off to really care about a lot of these problems. I'm worried about my kids
That's right.
putting food on the table for my kids. I can't worry about the whole world's pollution, the whole world's. I do my part, but like. I got to worry about what's you know.
But that's what
that's
it is.
that
like
is
you
a
pay,
luxury.
You pay
that
taxes. You pay taxes, and you always have to hear about. We can't cut this because there's these poor people, or there's this, there's the elderly, there's this, there's that. Like, how about like we just worry about our fucking selves, as you said. Like,
Yeah.
I'm worried about like paying my bills, putting a roof over my kid's head, like
Yes.
having a decent
Affordable
life,
groceries.
Right.
affordable, being able to put gas in.
I don't
you know,
have the
you put gas
luxury
in
to
the
worry
car.
about you two, bro.
Right.
Or this guy, or the other guy.
Like
or
I always
another-
have to hear,
yeah.
it's always woe me, but it's never like, how about like these people like stop doing what you're fucking doing? Like, how about like stop having kids if you can't afford them, or stop coming here
take
to
care
take
of the people that pay
Exactly.
for fucking everything, the middle class.
Exactly. Same thing. Like, you want to give illegals $1,000, give them housing, put them up in the hotel in New York, but like you have veterans dying, killing themselves all the fucking times. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah.
People that actually like served and did something like to
'Cause
help
you know
to
why,
support
like,
this country.
It seems like our country is just one grift after another, and if you happen to get caught up in that grift, then you're going to be homeless on the street. But if you make it through it, all right, then you're on to the next one. We're on to the next one.
I don't
we
know.
care about you now. All right, you could profit off of this, or you could do all right. Ah, you didn't make it. Sorry. You know what I'm
I don't
saying?
know how accurate this is, but someone said this to me once, and it's probably closer to accurate than it's not. Is we're all one paycheck away from being homeless. You know what I mean? It's not,
some of us.
I don't
I
know.
mean,
Well, not for you fucking ballers, but I'm saying for a lot of people in
Yeah,
the world,
yeah, there's a lot
I mean,
of that.
most people are paycheck to paycheck in America.
I mean, there's some crazy
Right.
number. Like most, like I forgot the percentage of Americans don't even have like $500 in the bank.
I know, for an emergency, right?
Right. So it's like
That's
you are
scary to
one
think.
paycheck away. Where like
Those people are one paycheck away. You know what I mean? For sure.
right. And like I'm
Maybe
not.
not homelessness, but probably losing their car.
It's
know,
the,
and
it's the
homelessness
same,
is not
but it's
far
the same-
behind.
And it's the same
But-
thing with like Social Security. It's the same thing with like everything with like the boomers. It's always got to worry about people that like had it great for so long that had they bought a house for $20,000.
But again,
they sold it for $1 million. I always got to worry about them. But like,
Do you blame those people though? I don't.
I
If I was of age in 1980, I was a 35-year-old person. I would have bought the house for $20,000, and I would have fucking, that was just the time that they existed in. Like, I think we could blame the boomers that they're not moving on. They're not selling their big mansions. They're retiring in these fucking $1 million homes instead of giving it to the next generation, the next family to raise. But you can't blame them because they grew up in a time when everything, they lived high on the hog. It was just America was at its pinnacle at that point. I'm not going to be like, I'm going to get that house for 25 G's. It's going to be worth $1 million. But you know what? My grandkids aren't going to be doing. No, I'm.
But you know what it is? It's the condensation you get from them when talking about that. It's I bought that for $20,000. Oh, you got to stop buying Starbucks every day. Stop doing that.
Right.
Like, you know what? Like, you can't afford a house. Houses that were $200,000 here are now $800,000.
And you have a pension.
Like, you have
and
a pension.
401. I know.
Like, you're not selling. You're selling in your house. Like, and then they build all these senior
Almost
citizen
no
communities.
young people are buying houses though. Their apartments are going up everywhere.
Yeah.
Everybody's in an apartment now. Everybody.
They're built all and when they build houses, they're building these McMansions. They're not building like houses like these small ones you see in these neighborhoods behind us, like they're starter homes. Like, you can't afford a house, and it's like if you're a young person, you're like,
fuck it.
It's like you live through the financial crisis, you live through COVID. It's like, when does it get better? It's like, but then it's like always like, don't touch Social Security because these people that had their whole lives to figure it out haven't.
Yeah.
I mean,
and Social Security's not even going to be there for us.
Right. And that's not going to be for us. We're paying for it. We don't have an option. Like, it's an entitlement. Like, we have to pay for it. Like, we can't say we don't want to pay that. It just comes out of our paychecks. Or, like, if you're self-employed, you have to pay those taxes.
Yeah.
And then again, I'm not, like, shitting on boomers. Like, my parents are boomers. Like, they worked hard. Like, I'm not trying to shit on them. But, like, they're the first generation. They're the first generation that didn't leave us better off than like the previous did. They're the first ones to do that.
But again, now, was that the boomers per se, our parents, or was it just the government just screwed it up? Because,
right.
What was the difference between then and now? Like, our government, really. It's not the people that were living here that were profiting off of that. It was the government structure, the money that was spent, the wars that were started. It was,
It's just unfortunate, like, they're the generation that is going to get the brunt for that, because ultimately, like, regardless of what, you say about Trump, like, you look at elections, you have 2 80-year-old people. Right?
I know.
Like,
what are they like? They don't.
And then the younger people that you have are fucking lunatics.
Yeah.
So it's like, what is the alternative?
Well, the young people fight the wars for the old people to fucking figure out.
But then, like, they run for Congress, and you get, like, the squad, you get AOCs, you get this person, you get they're fucking lunatics. Like, we need more people that are, like, understand, like, basic economics.
Wasn't Marco Rubio a pretty young guy when he ran?
Yeah.
I mean,
he's still in the
Secretary of State now.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, though, our best and brightest minds, they don't pay enough money to be in government. Like, if you're super bright and you're super fucking ambitious, it's like, I'm going to go start a business and be a multimillionaire instead of making $170,000 unless I want to sell my soul. And,
I don't know, though. Now that politics is starting to be, like, I guess you were always a celebrity, the president's most, but now it's almost like,
Yeah.
It's a little bit more celebrity-like to be a politician because now they.
I feel
dude,
like I know
you
a
look
lot
at
more than I
every.
ever have.
Okay, what's the most popular medium now? Podcast, right?
Right.
Listen to the most popular podcast? What are they talking about?
Politics.
The shit we're talking about.
Yeah.
Those people are the it people now. So maybe
Yeah.
that's going to attract a celebrity type person to
Yeah,
want to be a politician.
more of a
People you would never even think. Who would think Theo Vaughn would fucking be interviewing politicians?
I know.
Never. You know
He's
what I
had-
mean?
I
But
know.
he is.
He's
But
had
when you
JD
think about
Vance
it,
on
why not?
twice now.
Yeah,
Why not?
yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
If you
Yeah,
think
but-
about it, though, why not? That's, I mean,
I think the
Nelk boys
where's JD
had
Vance
Trump on.
live?
Ohio.
Oh,
Or he's
he's-
from Ohio.
Oh, he's from Ohio. Okay.
yeah, he
Yeah,
lives
he's,
in Washington, D.C. at this point.
I said, where's
He
he
does
from?
for at
though?
least
Did you hear
till
that?
May-
Did you hear
till-
that?
till
Did you hear that question?
28
Did
he
you hear
lives
that
there.
question? Where's he from?
Where is he from? They said where he
Yeah,
lives.
so where's he
Where's
from?
I think he said where he lived.
He said
honestly.
where does he
He
live?
did
That's
say
all
where he
right.
lives. See?
I'm
So
saying
just
no,
clean
but
that
I
one
bet
up.
you think he lives in Washington D.C.
Yeah,
Well, he lives with
in
the vice president.
Yeah, the vice
residence.
president's mansion.
They
or
have their
whatever.
own mansion.
It's
Yeah,
like
their
that big
mansion.
big building next to the White House. That's where the.
Do they live? Because Trump's barely at the White House,
I mean,
right,
during
he
the
don't- he
week,
don't-
he's there during the week.
but he don't stay there right much, right?
You don't
During the
have
week
to,
he
right?
does.
Do you have to?
I don't think so,
No,
but I mean
right.
that's where business goes
Yeah,
on.
and that's
so.
then that's. I
But
mean,
he's
it's
like he's
dope
up here
spot.
for the summer and he's in Mar-a-Lago for the winter.
You guys want to switch gears a little bit now that we got canceled?
Yeah, switch
You
him
got,
up.
that- you know
got
the
a
problem-
couple UFC
Hey.
fighters. You think?
Roger,
JB,
like,
give me
this is
that
the
bottle
shit
over
that
there. I'm
you
gonna
need.
get another little taste. It's wet the beak.
You think Sean O'Malley's done? The hype train's definitely
do you
over.
mean
Not
done?
Done. I don't
done
think
fighting, but do you think he can ever
I don't think he'll be world
crawl his
champion
way
again.
back to the top?
No,
Should he stay in that weight class because he can't beat Morales?
no. I think he's sorry. I don't know why I didn't just pass that for you.
I know,
My
you just
bad.
watched
I don't know
him
why I just
struggle.
let you watch you
Fucking
struggle to pass that. My bad. I
I'm
don't-
used to it. I'm used to it.
Yeah. What do you got? Give me the Johnny.
Give that thing
over
right
there.
No, I don't think he'll be champ. As long as
and like-
Rob's there, I don't think he will be.
Well, no, I do think he's gonna be too big for 35.
Too big, you think?
For 35, yeah, he's tall as shit.
So he stays where
He's not
he's
that young,
at,
though. It's not like
and
he's a 20-year-old, 25-year-old kid.
He stays where he's at. And just
How
becomes a
how old
gatekeeper?
is O'Malley?
I'd say 30.
30 years old, right? I mean, you think he's? You're saying he's too big already. You don't think he can stay making the weight? I mean,
Yeah.
And don't get better for him up top now.
No.
Not going up weight class.
All right, so let's talk
It definitely
about.
causes a lot of problems for the UFC, though.
We got to talk about a guy that we like, friend of the show. We've had him on, like him a lot. But we got to talk about Cody too, bro. I think he went 10-0 his first 10 fights, and I think he's like 3-7 or something like that. His last 10.
Fighters have a moment in time where
His moment was Dominic Cruz.
Yeah, I mean, dude, if you look at that fight, you'd be like, "There's nobody that's gonna beat this dude." I think that fighters have a moment in time
Who did he just
where
fight?
everything
He just
works.
fought, what?
I don't remember the guy's name, but
Yes.
it was kind of like an unranked guy. I mean, I don't
No,
think
no, it
Cody-
wasn't unranked.
No, he wasn't a ranked.
was a ranked guy?
I think
Not
he was
ranked,
top
I'm saying.
15.
Maybe
Right?
Who was it? Well, not Bautista.
Just say his name, I would know it.
Roy
but I
Val?
don't know.
Not Roy Val.
We're gonna look that up.
Who did he just fight? Jeez, we just
know.
watched it.
I saw a guy do like a breakdown on him. I don't know if you agree with this or disagree, but I'm not. But basically said he just, since the Dominic Cruz fight, has not evolved as a fighter. He's kind of stuck where he was.
I don't know
Training,
about evolved. I
training
mean,
the same way.
definitely not. That's not the truth. I mean, he's changed. He doesn't even train with the same team anymore. So
Oh, he's not with Faber anymore?
No.
no, he just lives in Vegas and trains himself, kind of.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So I don't think that's the case. Maybe
Rony what is this?
What?
Barcelos?
Oh,
Barcelos?
Raoni Barcelos. Yeah, he's not
Barcelos?
bad, dude.
No, he
I've
is
never heard
good.
of that guy.
He beat didn't he beat I think he's beat Saeed.
Oh yeah,
I think so. Yeah, he's definitely not bad.
Cody had his moments in that fight
He
too.
did.
He was looking
He
good,
didn't look
man.
bad.
He
He
did.
didn't
No.
look bad.
Not at all. Not at all.
Like, dude, he's still fast as shit.
Crazy.
You
fast.
know.
Probably the fastest guy in that division, but
It's just I think that to maintain that level is like you're at such a high RPM. The whole world's coming for you.
right.
That it's hard to sustain. That's why it's amazing to see a guy like John Jones who stayed on top so long, or George St. Pierre, and
Anderson.
when you're humming at that level, it's so hard to stay there for any sustained amount of time.
right.
Like look at Izzy. Izzy got fucking old in one fight, right? He gets caught, boom, and then it's Not saying that they can't compete with the best in the world, but to be at that level,
well, you can't maintain it forever.
It's no. You're fucking redlining your body to be a world champion.
Always winning, you're not fighting the right people. I mean, that's a good way to put it.
It
can't
is.
always win. There has to be an end to your era.
And he was in an era where he could do fucking roofing jobs instead of train and still win titles.
Yeah. Unless you retire when you probably are at your peak. If you retire when you're at your peak,
like Habib.
Yes.
Did you risk it all? Did you put it all out there? Because he still was at his peak.
Yeah.
He wasn't on the tail end of his career. He was at the fucking pinnacle.
But you got to look at your era, your moment in time, and who's around you. And it's like you can't. Mike Tyson beat up everybody that was in his era. Now you could say, man, if he was one era before that in the Muhammad Ali, the Sonny Liston, like would he have been as good? Yeah, but he didn't come up then. He fought the guys that were there for him, and that's like John. I think John walking away. The way he did it was a little shady, but
did he walk away or not?
Walked away.
Yeah, didn't he retire? And they stripped him of the belt and all this. No, that didn't happen.
The last I heard was like yesterday.
They're giving him an ultimatum, right, or something like that.
He's got 2 weeks to make a decision whether he's going to fight.
But like, there's always going to be the next guy. Yeah. He's cleared out how many errors of the baddest dudes that this guy's going to beat him and that guy's going to be. Yeah,
you guys said four generations.
Like yeah, something. You could say three.
More like three. But.
Yeah, but still, like dude, fucking what's his name? Oh, he's 30. He's like pretty damn new. I don't know. I just think this. What?
Askren?
No. Who? What? The guy he's about to fight. The next generation.
Yeah,
Tom Aspinall.
Tom Aspinall. When he won the title, Tom Aspinall was fucking 13 years old.
I meant Aspinall.
Yeah.
I said
yeah.
I'm like, wait, are we talking? I meant Aspinall.
This kid
Speaking of Askren, though, holy shit. Bro.
I know, bro. What a fucking heartbreak.
That is, and he's still fighting for his life, isn't he?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I saw his wife posted something and said, "Listen, instead of somebody else reporting this, I'm going to tell you essentially what's happening." And but how? So
sad, man.
I mean, he was the epitome of health. Where did that come out of? Out of the fucking blue?
I don't know.
Got pneumonia,
I don't know.
right?
Yeah. No. I think it started with a staph infection. I believe. Yeah.
I don't know. I think that's. I don't know if that's true.
We don't know that
I
either.
don't know if that's true. But anyway, I did hear from someone that knows him says that he's kind of like a very holistic type guy, and I wonder if he tried treating something himself, but he wasn't home. That's what I don't get. Remember, he was somewhere else, in a hospital somewhere else, and they flew him to Wisconsin.
Okay.
To be home.
I didn't know.
Fuck.
Yeah. So
with pneumonia, can you fly if you have pneumonia? Can you be
the helicopter if you need to be?
Medical transport or something. And honestly, I hate to say, I didn't want to say this, but I think they took him home just in case.
Jesus.
You know what I mean?
Damn, what a just.
Yeah.
You never know. You never know.
Mm-mm.
Try to be as healthy as possible.
Like untreated staff can travel.
Again, I don't know if that's
if
it goes to your blood.
You're talking about the staff. If you're talking about the staff and he ends up in pneumonia, I think maybe the staff killed his immune system. That's what I'm thinking. But again, we don't really know nothing. You know,
right?
Because it doesn't. I don't understand how they correlate with each other. Staph is one thing, like an infection, and unless you get staph in your blood, and then that makes you get pneumonia. I don't know.
Yeah, it would be a whole level past staph at that point, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. All right, boys.
Good go, fellas.
Good go. Always good to have Mr. Linguini with us.
Yes, sir.
Stop in when I can. Try to get you guys canceled.
Yes.
Do what I can. I'm still getting messages from the last. I'm telling you.
To it.
Yeah.
No, what? We don't talk bad. We don't talk
right,
bad.
right.
Look, we don't want war. That's it. I don't want no war.
We're very uneducated.
I don't think anybody does, though. Really, even
but
the
the
people.
problem is we're saying that we don't want war. It just happens in this case to be where we don't want to go to war with as an ally of Israel, and that's almost like something you can't say without fucking.
I know, but I mean, I wouldn't want to.
It's not just Israel. I don't want to be going on war on behalf of anybody.
I'm saying,
right?
Just because it happens to
and
be
just the
Israel,
fact that
you're gonna take shit,
and who we're trying to go to war with right now. We've been trying to go to war with for many years with all different reasons, and it's like we're getting hip to the game. Like everything is recorded nowadays. Right. We know that you guys said 15 years ago they're 18 months away from having it. Yeah,
I saw a thing that said Netanyahu the first time he ever mentioned it, Iran was trying to get a nuke was 1992.
Wow. 92, and so they were 18 months away then.
Yeah,
right. So
it was 18 months away.
Yes.
Well, wasn't he also the one that said, taking out Saddam is going to be crucial and critical?
Of course. And what did that do?
Nothing. Yeah.
What did he say with 9/11? 9/11 is the best thing to happen to Israel.
Of course it is, though. We went to war with all their enemies. It is.
But again, to be clear, I think we're all on the same page. I don't give a fuck what country is it.
No.
Unless it's home soil.
Yes.
I don't want any of it.
We just have too many problems here. Right. We're not in the state where we could start lending a helping hand. We're not. We got to worry about right here, right now. Exactly. And then maybe in years to come, when we get all this shit settled here, we can say, hey, guys, we can lend you a helping hand. Or I mean, we do have to be.
Listen, I do
we
think
are the world's big brother.
Allies out. But
we're the world's big brother.
Ally.
How?
No, I'm saying this. So you're my ally, right?
Right.
So I'm gonna help you out. If you get in a fight, I'm gonna help you out. But if you go out every night and you're getting in a fight and you call me every fucking night, yo, hey, I need you, I need back. Yo, I need back. Yo, I need back. After a while, I'm like, yo, motherfucker, bro.
Yeah.
What's the deal? Why I'm always getting your back? Like, enough. I think you have a problem. Maybe you shouldn't go out no more. Stop drinking, motherfucker. Someone needs to say that to somebody.
If you're the
you know what I mean?
baddest man on the planet, you don't need an ally. You don't need an ally.
But even still, everybody needs an ally.
Yeah,
everybody needs an ally.
And look,
everybody needs an
we
ally.
are the world's big brother. We are. I mean, whether we like to admit it or not, after World War II, we took that role. We wanted that role, and we took that role. So we are going to have to help people around the world. That's just part of it, right?
But we took that role so we could police.
No. In a time of peace, I'm saying, as far as just giving out, like, you have to have. I don't know. You have to have people around the world to keep order, because if we're not there, there's a power vacuum. We've seen it happen.
Ends for us.
It never gonna. But
nonstop American troops. Just
no,
keep dying.
but I don't think we should be going to a full scale shooting war. I think just our presence in a lot of places is enough, and we have bases everywhere. So I think that is, as far as the shooting war, that's 100%. The military industrial complex, the Lindsey Grahams. Do you know, like, the Lindsey Graham? And I'm listening to Tucker Carlson today. He's talking about how Lindsey Graham and the Mike Pompeo guy, they're over in, like, Ukraine, and they're fucking trying to, like, rile things up. They're having speeches on how, like, they want this thing to keep going because they all work for fucking defense contractors. It's just
crazy.
like, it's wild. How would these people? We know this is happening. How don't you step in and say, hey, bro, you're treasonous. You're treasonous. You're going to jail. You're trying to get this fight,
And the reason, and the problem is because at the end of it, it's someone's kids going to fucking war to die, bro.
That's ultimately what it is.
Why.
That's what it is. You're going to be ripping my son away for another fucking Vietnam type situation. Like, that, I'm not doing that.
They don't see you as people.
Have you watched the documentary, the Vietnam documentary on Netflix?
No. I don't think so.
I just don't want to watch documentaries anymore because I feel like they're all bullshit.
Well, this is skewed in a different way. It wasn't good. It wasn't good at all. It talks about what really went down in Vietnam, about the false flag, about how we knew we were losing that war years before it fucking happened, how Nixon used it to get into office. Like, there was a peace treaty, there was a peace settlement on the table, and he said, hold off, we'll give you a better one till after the election. He let X amount of people die in that time. Like, it's just
it's crazy that
it's always been
life
that way.
Just doesn't have any weight for these
no
people.
value for politicians.
You know what I mean?
And then
they got, like, how do they sleep at night? Like, I can't imagine being a cop, right? A cop, you don't do nothing. You just see horrible shit. It's probably hard for them to sleep at night.
Yes.
Imagine being a politician knowing you're the cause of it.
Yeah, but name one politician you know of that would be like you describe as like a humanitarian. Name one that you can think of.
I mean,
but do you think you're like so?
I'm sure every one of them were at one point.
Maybe.
Do you think that it's like this though? Say I'm a politician and I vote for this bill. Now I can rest and know that, all right, I voted for this, but I'm not the one that put it in motion. Mm-hmm. I'm not the one who sent the bullets. I'm not the one who spoke. You know what I'm saying? It's like you feel like you're so far away from the actual deed.
Well, no, or in their mind, they're thinking it's the right thing.
Did you see that Sandy Hochul, the New York governor, just said?
Kathy Hochul.
Sorry, Kathy.
She is a Batman fucking villain, bro. The way she looks, you're like, Jesus Christ,
the way she
bro.
Talks,
oh my God, her face is just fucking
50
like
million. She just basically said that New York is going to spend $50 million to protect illegals that are here illegal in court. In the justice system.
That's exactly what the fuck you spend your money on.
Can you imagine being
people are getting lit on fire in the fucking in the subway, and that's what you're worried about?
Oh, they're gonna do that here, bro.
Oh, probably.
Bro, we lose this one.
I'm glad I got out while I did. Pulled the ripcord.
Yeah.
See you later, guys.
All right. We should probably wrap.
Take care, boys and girls. Have a good evening.
Take it easy.
Peace.
You want to edit any of this one?
No,
going
you kidding me?
Well, you think
Yeah,
we
you
did bad? I
get
don't think
good.
we did
No,
bad.
no,
Yeah.
No.
You were very informational too.
Sorry, I'm
bro.
very animated.
He's
Get past you.
He's
yeah,
very
your face
informational.
isn't on camera. You're good.
Yeah, right.
All right. Later, boys.
See you later. Scientist pig.
What's up, guys? Make sure you follow us on your favorite podcast platforms. You can find the links in the description below. And if you've enjoyed this episode, hit that like button and share it with a friend. Your support keeps us growing.